Hey guys, this is Vengeful Parrot here from Two True Reviews, and today is the day that a lot of you have been waiting for, because I'm going to be reviewing Titanfall for the Xbox One. Now, before we get started here and I start showing you some gameplay and all that kind of good stuff, I am going to be going over the Titan and Pilot loadout options and just doing a quick kind of comparison, effectively, to what they were in the beta. I'll just be doing a quick overview of what's new. If you're not really interested in that, you may want to skip ahead to 5 minutes-ish, maybe, and that should put you where we start talking about other stuff. Now, just really quick before I get started with all the, heavily detailed talking and everything, I do just want to let everyone know that I have been having a heck of a time with allergies lately. I have a little bit of a sinus headache right now as it is, and I probably sound a little extra nasally, and I may do a little bit of throat clearing and that kind of thing as I go through this video. Please excuse that. That's not normally how I am. For whatever reason, the medicine hasn't seemed to have kicked in quite yet. So yeah. Anyways, moving on. Like I said in the beta videos, all the primary weapons for the pilots function pretty much exactly the way that you would expect. Carbine works like a carbine, shotgun like a shotgun, SMG like an SMG, blah, 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 blah. The only two new weapons that aren't plainly obvious by the last word or whatever in their name would be the G2A4 rifle and the Hemlock BFR. The Hemlock BFR is basically a 3-round burst assault weapon, and the G2A4 is a designated marksman rifle. It is semi-automatic, no high-powered scopes, all that kind of good stuff. So yeah, the only weapon that is really unique in this game is the Smart Pistol, and a lot of people were initially worried that that particular gun would cause problems, essentially, because it would be like way overpowered, all that kind of stuff, and that it would basically make the game in general not fun. And it's because this gun, basically, like the description says, scans for hostile targets within a short range, locking onto them automatically, and then once you pull the trigger, the bullets basically go where they're supposed to and the thing dies. It is a very powerful weapon. However, it's only powerful if you're using it right and if you get the jump on someone. More often than not, in a head-to-head firefight where the enemy actually knows you're there, you're going to lose. If you spend some time with the gun and you figure out how exactly it works and everything, you will end up being able to, kill everything with a respectable amount of time on your side. But frankly, like I said, if you're going into a head-to-head firefight, you're most likely not going to win. It's great for getting behind enemy lines and taking out NPCs and that kind of stuff. However, when it comes to enemy pilots, you're most likely going to have to resort to iron sights or just hip firing the weapon in order to get your kills. And that being said, it does have a fairly accurate hip fire, so that does work in benefit to it. Now, the reason that I don't think the weapon is completely overpowered is, like I said, because it is pretty much outclassed by every other weapon in the game if you're using that weapon to its advantage. So like the G2A4 rifle, if you are at, kind of a medium range against someone with a Smart Pistol, you're going to win out. If it's close quarters, probably not so much. And, vice versa with the shotgun. If you're at a medium range and you're trying to kill them with a shotgun, you're most likely gonna lose. Whereas at close quarters, you would completely devastate them. The only really exceptions to any sort of balancing rule would be the R101C carbine. It is the basically the main weapon in the game. The vast majority of people use this, and then the Car SMG. And the R101C carbine is fairly powerful. Just because it is good at almost any range and has a fairly accurate rate of fire and all that kind of stuff. So one could say that it's overpowered. I frankly just dislike it because it does outclass some of the snipers and other long-range weapons, which is a little frustrating. But I guess, that's whatever. That's just my opinion. So, anyways, moving on. New anti-Titan weapons would be the mag launcher and charge rifle. Basically, the mag launcher shoots a semi-automatic fire, and it shoots grenades, magnetic grenades that would automatically track towards enemy Titans and Spectres once it gets near them, and then explode on impact. Charge rifle is basically a giant laser beam. I typically have this anti-Titan weapon on my sniper classes because it allows me to keep my distance. Like I said, it's a giant laser beam. You just press and hold the trigger. Once the weapon is fully charged, it will discharge that laser, and whatever happens to be in the way will get hit. New sidearm would be the B3 Wingman. It's basically a heavy-hitting, slow-firing revolver-style gun. The new tactical ability would be the active radar pulse. That is the only new one in comparison to the beta. And basically it allows you to see through walls at a short distance for a short amount of time. Enemies would be highlighted in orange, and allies would be highlighted in blue. New ordnance would be the arc mine, which is basically an EMP mine, and the satchel charge, which is basically a remote detonated C4. And I have a little bit of a problem with the ordnance in general as well, but specifically the satchel charge. I'll get to that in just a little bit. Now, new additions to the Tier 1 kit would be the Run and Gun kit, Quick Reload, and Stealth kit. Stealth kit makes your footsteps silent and your jump exhaust nearly invisible. Quick Reload is pretty obvious. Run and Gun allows you to use pistols and SMGs while sprinting. You can only hip fire, so you're not going to be too terribly accurate, but it can be quite useful. Especially in game modes like Capture the Flag. If you have a person equipped with the CAR SMG along with the STIM tactical ability, you can pretty much chase down any flag runner ever. Let's see, Tier 2 kit would be the new additions are Dead Man's Trigger, which detonates all planted explosives when you're killed. I have no idea why you would want this, but I guess at the same time, like when you die, those explosives do disappear anyways, so I suppose it could be useful, but the chances of it ever coming in handy and getting you a kill or anything are probably slim to none. Now, the Ice Pick allows you to, hack Spectres and turret control panels much faster. It is quite useful on certain maps only. The Guardian chip gives your Auto Titan much greater accuracy, so whenever you are not in your Titan, this Tier 2 kit ability will make that Auto Titan a lot more accurate. Now, we're going to look at the Titan loadouts, and we're going to talk about these satchel charges real quick. The tactical abilities, there's one called Electric Smoke. This is great for getting enemy pilots off your back, because it will kill them if they stay on there, and if they don't, then they obviously have to jump off. Anyways, but let's say you don't want that, and you want Vortex Shield, or the newest one, Particle Wall, which is essentially a stationary wall that gets deployed that you can shoot through, but enemy rounds cannot make it through to you. Then you will not have a way to get enemy pilots off of your back, and if you don't have an ally around to do it for you, you will have to hop out of your Titan and shoot them off of your Titan yourself, which isn't that difficult. I do it all the time, and it's very easy and it's quick to do. Now, the satchel charges are where I have a problem. Right now, the satchel charges, along with all other grenades and mines and that kind of thing, can be deployed while you're rodeoing an enemy Titan. So what a lot of people have been doing is rodeoing an enemy Titan and then throwing satchel charges on the ground in front of the Titan the instant they notice that the Titan is kind of like going down to let the pilot out, and then they jump off and detonate those charges. So essentially what you end up with is a situation where you have a pilot on your back, and you can either A, get out and get blown up by satchel charges, or B, stay in your Titan and he'll just shoot the panel and everything until you die. and then you eject and all that kind of stuff. That doesn't exactly seem fair to me. I feel like that's a balancing issue, because at that point, like, your Titan effectively becomes useless against enemy pilots unless you happen to see the pilot first. I feel like a good fix in the future would be to make it so that all ordnance types, whether it's frag grenades, satchel charges, doesn't matter, need to be unusable while you're rodeoing an enemy Titan. But again, that's just my opinion. So anyways, back to the customization options for the enemy, or for the Titans. The most obvious and probably most exciting newest addition from the beta would be the different chassis. The one that you had access to in the beta was the Atlas, and that was something that it's basically a Titan chassis that is not too fast but not too slow, and same thing goes for health. Not a whole lot, but not only a little amount. And the other two chassis are basically opposite sides of the same spectrum. The Strider is very weak in terms of health, but very, very fast. The Ogre is very strong in terms of health, but quite slow. So, yeah. Now, I will be coming back to these in just a little bit, because there is a little bit of information that I do need to, talk about with that. Now, new additions to the primary weapon would be plasma railgun, arc cannon, and triple threat. The plasma railgun is essentially a sniper rifle. I don't like it very much, but there are some people that have taken the time and have the patience to have gotten good with it. So, I don't know. The arc cannon is basically a lightning gun. It will charge up and then shoot out, essentially a giant bolt of lightning. And it's great for taking out infantry and that kind of thing, and it can be fired quickly or charged up to increase the firepower and that kind of thing. I don't honestly think it's that great against enemy Titans by comparison to all the other weapons in the game. However, it can penetrate things like the vortex shield. So that is a nice, neat little addition. Now, triple threat is basically a grenade launcher that shoots 3 grenades with each trigger pull, and it is extremely effective in close quarters. And it is also great for taking out infantry and clearing out the interior of buildings. So if you're ever on a map that has a lot of buildings for pilots to get into and is like extremely tight, like maybe a lot of alleys or something, this would probably be a great weapon to have for your Titan. The only new tactical ability, like I said, was the particle wall. New ordnance would be the cluster missile and multi-target missile system. Multi-target missile system is exactly what it sounds like. You can acquire multiple targets and shoot off a salvo of missiles at all your locked targets. The cluster missile is basically one big missile that detonates on impact and then deploys a shower of secondary explosions, after that first initial explosion. It's great, again, for clearing out buildings, as well as also a little bit of area denial, because if you shoot it at a wall or something when you're being chased by enemy Titans, those secondary explosions could potentially make them not want to continue chasing you. It's worked for me a few times before. It doesn't always work, though. New additions to the Tier 1 kit for the Titans would be the Fast Autoloader, Dash Quick Charger, and Tactical Reactor. Basically, all of these make something recharge faster. The Fast Autoloader makes your ordnance recharge faster, so, your rocket salvos and that kind of thing. This recharges your dash much faster, and this will recharge your tactical ability a lot faster, so the Vortex Shield, Electric Smoke, etc., etc. Tier 2 kit new additions are the Core Extender, Core Accelerator, and Big Punch. Core Extender and Accelerator will make your core ability either last longer with the Extender or recharge faster with the Accelerator. And Big Punch makes your Titan punch a whole lot harder, so it does more damage and knocks enemy Titans back farther. Now, That's about it in terms of the new customization options. I'm not going to talk about burn cards right now, just simply because I don't really feel like I need to at this point. If you want information on those, I'd recommend going and watching my beta videos. I did cover those in detail in those videos. There's not really much more detail that needs to be gotten into with those. Now, there are two new gameplay modes in comparison to the beta: Capture the Flag and Pilot Hunter. Capture the Flag is self-explanatory. Pilot Hunter is a classic team deathmatch where the only kills that count towards winning are killing enemy players. This is in contrast to Attrition, where killing anything earns points towards a victory. So, as of late, I've been doing the Variety Pack because I actually rather enjoy every single one of these game modes. The Variety Pack is basically, it will dump you into a room, and after each game, it will give you a new game, a new game type. So, like one game you may play Capture the Flag, the next it's Last Titan Standing, and then after that it's Hardpoint. It's actually really fun. It keeps me from getting bored with any one single gameplay mode. Now, I said I would get back to the Titan chassis a little later on, and I am going to be doing that now. The Ogre and Strider chassis are the newest, and if you want to use those in your customizable Titan loadouts, you will have to play the campaign. And I'm sure at this point, all of you have probably heard that the campaign is super bad. And that is true, unfortunately. But at the same time, I don't know, I have mixed feelings about it. Because the campaign is essentially, 9 multiplayer matches, 18 if you play both sides. So if you play as both factions, it will be 18 missions long and take you about 3.5 hours total in order to, beat it and everything, which isn't too bad. Anyways, like I was saying, the campaign is about 18 missions long if you play through both sides of it, and will take about 3.5, maybe 4 hours to complete. Each round takes about 10 minutes because just your standard attrition and all that kind of stuff. So, nothing too terribly special at all. Now, oh boy. And that's why satchel charges are not fun. Anyways, so the campaign, like I said, basically it's just multiplayer matches with very poorly voice acted dialogue thrown in over the top, which is rather unfortunate because I feel like they could have done so much more with the campaign, but also at the same time I feel like it's almost a good thing that they didn't spend a whole lot of time on it. Just simply because I don't really know if there's enough to this game to justify a full campaign. And I wouldn't want them to, go spending all that time and money on, making a good campaign, quote unquote, when it's just not going to be good. The same kind of thing applies to, like a Call of Duty and, I didn't mean to select that one. Oh, well, whatever. The same thing kind of goes for Call of Duty and Battlefield 4. Like, I just don't feel like there's enough of a game there to justify... What are you doing, dude? Oh, there's a guy on... Sorry, that's my Titan. But like I was saying, I don't really feel like there's enough of a game to justify a full campaign, like with Battlefield and Call of Duty. They try so hard, and it's just always absolutely terrible, again, in my opinion. But, again, it's kind of nice to see that they didn't necessarily waste all that time and money on making a campaign that they thought was good when it just wasn't going to be good. But I feel like there's enough uniqueness and newness to this particular franchise that it could have been good, which is why it's a little disappointing that they didn't try harder. But again, like I said, if it ended up making the multiplayer worse, which is the core focus of the game, I'm glad that they didn't try harder. But anyways, enough about that. So, like I said, if you want to unlock all of the Titan chassis for use in your customizable loadouts, you will have to play through the campaign. And outside of that and my previous mentionings of which weapons I thought were a little unbalanced, there's not really a whole lot that's wrong with the game. I actually really enjoyed this game, so much so that saying that it's enjoyable is probably a little bit of an understatement, frankly. There is a lot about this game that it just brings me back to it. I keep coming back to this game over and over and over. Like, I haven't gotten bored yet with it, and I've put about 16 and a half hours into this game already, and I'm not bored with it yet. The only thing that's a little puzzling is their leveling system. As you can see over here and on my team, there are a couple people with like these banners next to their level that say, like G2 and G3 and then have a symbol. That represents generations of pilots. So it's essentially the prestige system. I haven't done it yet. I'll be doing it after I'm done with this review. But once you hit level 50, you have the option to select this down here, this regenerate. And you will, again, essentially prestige. You'll start back over at level 1 and have that nifty little symbol next to your level and everything. And like I said, their leveling system is a bit odd because from level 1 all the way through about level 40, you can level up at least once every 2 games. When you first start out, you can easily level up 2 times per round, or per game rather, and but like once you get to about level 25, it slows down to like maybe once per game or once every 2 games, that kind of thing. But once you hit level 40, you just hit this wall where it ends up being like 6 to 8 games per level, which is a little annoying. I feel like they could have balanced that out a little bit better, because I went from like feeling like I was just kind of like continuously progressing, and then all of a sudden I just like hit this wall, and now I feel like I'm just forever grinding. I would much rather have a very balanced and kind of like even Steven leveling system than having one that is just kind of like you're really fast and then just boom, like you're stuck basically. I don't know. Again, that's just my opinion. I feel like I said that could have been done a little bit better, but whatever. So yeah, I mean, like I said, the game is great. I continuously keep coming back to it. I obviously haven't put as much time into this as what I have, a game like, say, Battlefield 4 or something, but I can honestly see myself doing so. And especially if the DLCs that are planned for this end up, bringing in new game modes and that kind of thing, I could definitely, see... of course I would fall. Whatever. Anyways, I could definitely see myself, continuing to play this game for a very long time. Especially with all the troubles that Battlefield has been having with their newest installment in the franchise, I can honestly see this basically turning into my go-to game for first-person shooters. So, do I recommend this game? Wow. Nothing like getting pinned between 2 people. Do I recommend this game? Absolutely 100% yes. I don't honestly really even think there's anything wrong with this game. It does have a few minor balancing issues, but again, those could very well be just my personal opinion. For all I know, I'm the only one that has issue with those things. But frankly, even those aren't enough for me to say, no, don't even bother picking up this game. Because this game is just, it's borderline perfect. It has its flaws, yes. I mean, the campaign, like I said, is super bad. But again, it's not really bad enough that I wouldn't recommend the game. Even if you play through the campaign, it's not just absolutely like teeth-grindingly terrible. You don't even really notice it most of the time. You will most likely end up playing through the campaign and not even probably realizing that you are playing the campaign, because all the dialogue and everything is going to be drowned out by all the gunfire. But yeah, I don't know. Long story short, there's pretty much nothing wrong with this game. It has a few minor things that could probably be tweaked some or something like that, but nothing absolutely like game-breakingly terrible. And see, this is where, I say, see, the smart pistol isn't all, just amazingness and killing machine-y. That's what I've been using, and clearly I haven't been doing too well because I haven't been getting the jump on anybody. Yeah, like I was saying, just go out and buy this game. You will most likely absolutely love it. The only way that I could see you not enjoying this game is if you don't like first-person shooters, or if maybe you're starting to get a little bit burnt out on first-person shooters. And that's kind of where I'm falling at the moment. I'm starting to feel a little bit burnout on first-person shooters as a whole. And I honestly can't wait until, all the RPGs and that kind of thing start coming out for the Xbox One. However, because of... come on, die, thank you. Because of the uniqueness that this first-person shooter has, it's going to last me a while still. I mean, I do have, Battlefield 4 that I can fall back on if I ever get tired of this, but I honestly don't really see that happening ever. But, I don't know. I mean, like I said, I love the game as it stands, and I can only see it getting better over time. So if you were at all even kind of interested in this game, I highly recommend going out and buying it, as soon as you can. Obviously not right now if you don't necessarily want to, and like I've said before, it will be, in your best interest to look at other reviews outside of mine. I mean, I'm not... That's the exact same guy as before. I'm not exactly, like some premier expert on video games, and your opinion could very well be the complete opposite of mine. There have been people that just absolutely hated Titanfall. I honestly don't know why. After watching some, bad reviews and, watching or reading or whatever, some bad reviews, I honestly feel like the people who gave it bad reviews were expecting way too much from the game, but, again, that's just my personal opinion. Oh boy. Alright. So, yeah. Like I was saying, you're gonna want to look at other reviews. Because if you don't, then you could end up being disappointed. But, who knows? Anyways, I'm rambling at this point. So, yeah, like I was saying, it's a great game. It would be well worth your time, especially if you like first-person shooters. If you're not a huge fan of first-person shooters, you may want to maybe look at a couple other reviews before you end up, picking this up and everything. But, like I said, it is a fantastic game. I couldn't have been more pleased with it myself, but that's just one person's opinion. Again, I highly recommend checking out other reviews, but if you ask me, you should go get it. Just go get it right now. Or download it. That's what I did. That way I can actually make use of the, the console commands for, go to this game without having to get up and, put the game disc in every single time. So yeah, anyways, again, rambling, sorry about that. You guys have a fantastic rest of your day. This is Vengeful Parrot, signing off.